Guys, Jonan here, the guy who is dreading this allergy season. I was a mess last night and I left. I just went to bed around, what was it? I saw the first fight. I saw the Reyes fight. And did I watch the second? I did. I did stay up for, Jean Silva fight. But I went to bed. I was just like, I'm struggling. I need to go to bed. I woke up and had to rewatch the fights, and I got to watch the prelims I didn't watch. But so sorry for the delay, but I'm here now, and hopefully these allergy meds are kicking in because I can breathe through my nose right now. So that's a plus. But enough talk. Let's just talk about UFC three. Was it 314? Volkanovski Lopez because it was actually really good. So let's get to the fights. Main event: Diego Lopez, Alexander Volkanovski, vacant featherweight belt. I picked Lopez to win, and I also wanted Lopez to win because I think it's always a bad thing when a champion leaves a division and vacates a belt, having the guy who wins the belt be the guy who just lost to the champion. Let's say, hypothetically, Dominic Reyes, a lot of us know, got robbed in a decision. But let's say he didn't. Let's say that he did just actually lose against John Jones by decision. Let's say he lost 3-2. John Jones, whatever. Let's say the judges were actually right. Um, and so him losing against Blachowicz is a good thing in that case because you don't want to just be like, yeah, well, the king isn't here, in that situation. I think that's always a bad thing for a division. And for Volkanovski winning, as much as I love Volkanovski, I'm a huge fan of Volkanovski. I'm also a fan of Diego Lopez, and I was like, new blood, probably a good thing here. And this fight was really good. This fight was really, really good. Probably an early contender for fight of the year, I would imagine. And I thought it was closer than a lot of people online did. So initially, I was like, I don't know. I think the argument for both winning is there. Taking a step away, I can kind of go, no, Volkanovski won, but Lopez, like, because it kind of comes down to Volkanovski was circling a lot. He's a movement-based fighter, and his movement is incredible. His footwork is incredible. It's one of the reasons he gave Makhachev so much fits in their first fight was his movement, and one reason why he gave Topuria a ton of fits in their fight before getting knocked out, because he won the first round against Topuria. I thought was his movement. His movement is just sublime and very good. So, so that kind of styling is a good thing against a guy like him. Um, then I think I would go with there. So there's that personally for me. Um, he was using his movement very well to avoid the power and aggression of Lopez. Well, he would move an off angle, land a good shot, and Lopez was just taking these shots. Iron Chin, he got stumbled like once, I think, but he was really just kind of moving through these shots, like, come on, trying to elicit a brawl. And there was moments where these guys traded shots, and it was intense. Lopez landed less shots, but probably the more meaningful shots, if that makes sense. This was a quality over quantity type of thing, and in MMA, sometimes quantity is more important. It just needs context. Context is really key in that kind of debate. I think Volkanovski did land quality shots, um, but he landed like like maybe 5, 6, 7, 8 quality, like really good shots that were clean. Lopez just happened to not care. His chin, nothing. Whereas when for Lopez is like 5, 3, 4, 5 quality shots. Volkanovski is going flying, or he's getting dropped, or he's like clearly hurt and having to just retreat. Um, and and there was a little grappling, but not much. It was mostly a striking affair, a lot of boxing, some kicks, but mostly just the boxing, and it was awesome. It was a really good fight. If you haven't seen it and you're just listening to like me recap it, highly recommend watching it. It's one of my favorite fights this year. Volkanovski historically loves to just give me fight of the year candidates, you know? Like he didn't give me one last year, but the year before, one of my favorite fights of all time at lightweight is one of my favorite lightweight fights of all time is him and Makhachev one. The fight is incredible. And I do love the first Max Holloway fight. Him and Chad Mendez is a lot of fun as well. Him and Aldo, I remember being pretty good, but definitely Volkanovski just puts on great fights for me. He's got a really fun style, and Lopez brings it, just brings it. When he has the right dance partner, it's so good. It's so good. Such a fun fight. I think Volkanovski becomes the second undisputed featherweight champion to have a two-time reign because Max never regained his belt. I know a lot of people think he should have after the second Volkanovski fight, but he technically didn't. And because Aldo, the GOAT, he got it too, which I think he was going to if he rematched Connor. I think if he rematched Connor, I think he beats Connor in that rematch. Because he should have had one, I think. But they weren't going to do that. So here we go. Volkanovski has it. I think Avloyev is next. I would love a Diego Lopez rematch down the line, but I think Avloyev is next, and I don't think Avloyev poses enough problems. I think Volkanovski isn't going to be phased by the problems that Avloyev brings to the table. I think he beats him here. So co-main event was Paddy the Baddy against Michael Chandler, who is potentially washed. And then I was able to confirm Michael Chandler is mad washed. He just threw a couple of right hands. He was like ducking like this, then throw a right hand, and just eating like nearly eating uppercuts. He had trouble with the range, something he hasn't really had trouble with in the past, but he was having trouble with the range and just getting inside. And then when he would get inside, he would just shoot a takedown. He had some success, but Paddy was able to, control position, get like reverse position, get on top. He's a much better grappler than like in a pure grappling jujitsu to jujitsu type of situation. Paddy's gonna smoke Chandler on the ground. Um, you know, Chandler kind of has to slam him into a dominant position and use his wrestling from there. Because in neutral positions on the ground, Paddy should just beat him. And yeah, that's kind of what happened. Paddy just was out grappling him, out striking him, and Chandler looked horrible, horrible, I thought. And Paddy just, you know, mauls on him until getting a TKO from Mount in the third round. I got to be honest, good performance for Paddy. Sure, not a Paddy fan. I don't think he's very good. I'm being honest. I think we know what his ceiling is because I think Chandler was like I mean Carl were talking about on the previous show. Ooh, Chandler could be washed. Let's hope he isn't, but he could be washed. Chandler's washed. I think this is a confirmation, personally, which isn't very fun. I gotta be honest. It's not very fun to say that about someone, but definitely really past his prime. 38 years of age. He took a year off, hoping for that big red panty night paycheck with Connor. Connor was never going to fight you because he doesn't want that smoke. He didn't want that smoke at the time, at least. Third fight on the card was Patricio Pitbull versus Yair Rodriguez. That fight was sick. It was really good, actually. It was a lot of like Pitbull trying to. It was a lot of Pitbull just trying to like get in and like try to close the distance, do to um, what he can to try and like land the big shots and try and figure out this puzzle of the long range kicking attack. And not Lopez, Rodriguez eventually started kind of letting the hands go, and it was kind of scary when he would let the hands go and trade. But when he was just kicking, he was landing great kicks. Had a good switch kick, or had a good jumping switch kick that was pretty sweet. Dropped him with a 1-2, I think in the third round, and I thought he was almost going to get the finish, but he just couldn't quite get the finish. Bad night for Bellator. He has, yeah, you're got a pretty good, pretty easy 30-27, I thought. at least not easy, but comfortable 30-27 over Patricio Pitbull. Then the big fight that I was like, I'm not missing this was Sean Silva, Bryce Mitchell. Sean Silva went out there, was letting Bryce kick him, was kept being like, hey, do you want to touch gloves now? Touch gloves now? No? Here's a wheel kick. All right, here's a here's me like coming in with punches. And just kind of felt like he was toying with him a little bit. Bryce is out there trying to fight for his life. And that was a weird dynamic. And then finally, in the second round, he said, hey, do you want to touch gloves now? Like, do I have your respect to touch gloves? Bryce Mitchell didn't want none of that. And he went, okay, fine. And just went out there and started mauling Bryce Mitchell. And it was awesome. He nearly choked him out a couple times in the first round. Second round, he hurts Bryce, drops Bryce. Bryce just starts going for takedowns. He starts just going for chokes on him. And it felt like the chokes were very like, okay, fine, then going for it. And what's it called? It was kind of funny. Because to me, like it just kind of had like a weird vibe, like a really funny vibe to it in a comedy sense. And Tom Silva just gets one of the nastiest ninja chokes I've ever seen, by the way. One of the like to the point where like when Bryce taps to this ninja choke and is like, like his eye, like it is haunting. And then you see John Silva doing what I like to refer to as an exorcism type celebration by like grabbing the cage like this with his hands and feet and just and I was like, oh my gosh, he's gonna start spider walking down some stairs. I don't like this. Uh, awesome. John Silva is awesome, and I would love to see him start contending, like be in that top contendership. Why not have him fight Yair for a title shot? Why not? He's so much fun. These fighting nerds are I think 18, 19 and 0 in the UFC. Yeah, give them. I'm so down for this team. Such a big fan of this team and so excited for them. And then for the rest of the card that I can just kind of run through quickly, we had Dominic Reyes beats Nikita Krylov with a beautiful one-shot counter off the retreat with the left hand. Beautiful shot, very one-shot power. It was a lot of fun. Dan Ige got a big controversial upset with a TKO over Sean Woodson. He definitely had Sean Woodson hurt. Sean Woodson was definitely going for like a desperation takedown, but it was really early. And Sean Woodson, I thought, had won the first two rounds, so kind of a little salty about it, but not like too salty because I like Danny Gay and Sean Woodson is in my boy stable. Um, Verno Yonderoba definitely secures a title shot with a win over Yan Xiaonan. Chase Hooper beats Jim Miller in a battle of like the eras combining. UCJ Julian Erosa got a TKO over Darren Elkins. Michael Olajacek beats Cedric Dumas by TKO in round one. Sumagarji, owner of one of the most fun flyweight fights of all time, with Matt Schnell, known fighter pay defender. Matt Schnell against he got a split decision over Mitch Raposa. Marco Tulio beat Trijian Gore by TKO, and I like Trijian Gore. I kind of like that, like not very like I don't want to say talented, not very skilled and technical, but just all around athlete. I kind of like that archetype in MMA, especially around like the middleweight, welterweight area. It's kind of fun for me. I don't know why. And Trijian Gore gets TKO though, sadly. In the second round, Nora Connolly and Haley Cohen open up the card with a submission by rear naked choke. This card felt like oh man, that's right. This is what good MMA looks like. Because full disclosure, this year and last year have been terrible. It's been terrible in MMA. And at least for the UFC, it's been awful. And this felt like that's right. I love this sport kind of moment. So I definitely needed this night. Well, I watched it in over 2 days, but I definitely needed this. It was very good, and it was fun. Well, it was awake watching it with friends, and I watched a little bit of the fights this morning with with a friend of mine. So, but it was I wish I wasn't had the allergies going on. I don't know if you notice my voice cracking a little bit. It's because you know definitely not the fun time of year for me. It is. You guys know me by now. It is what it is. But yep, that's it for me though. I've been Joe with the INC. Thank you so much for watching. I got a hot takes video coming out this week I'm pumped. There's no fights. It's WrestleMania weekend, but I have a hot take for us that I think is going to be just scorching. But I have a lot of them. But I'm Joe with the INC. Thank you so much for watching.